What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking about there's three sides to every story. See, what we have to understand before making an analyzation about a situation, a scenario, we have to understand these three things. We have to understand your side of the story, their side of the story, and the truth. Many times when we're dealing with people, we deal with people based upon favoritism. We deal with people based upon feelings. We deal with people based upon how much we like them. If there are friends, our family members, people in our social group, in our social circle, and they're close to us, we tend to lean on their side more because they're around us all the time. We're used to them. We're comfortable with them. So we decide to more so listen to what the people that we're around on a constant basis have to say, as opposed to somebody who may not be around us as often, as much. When we have a scenario and situation that we're dealing with and we're faced with, we cannot look at it from a biased perspective. We have to look at their side of the story. We have to look at the people that are around us side of the story, and then there's the truth. When you're looking at it from the person that you may know side of the story, you have to see if there's details in that story. We have to see if that story is actually a story that is actually a legitimate story, where there's sources, research, information in that story that pertains to the actual case of the problem. Now, in the person that we may not know as much side of the story, it's the same thing. We have to look at it from a perspective that's not biased based upon knowing that person. Sometimes people may not listen to that person's side of the story because they may not know them as well. They may automatically look at that person as a liar. They may look at that person as somebody that's trying to cause division because they are not familiar with that person. We have to understand that even though we may not know that person as well, that doesn't mean that their story is false. We have to understand that there's research that we have to do. We have to understand the data. We have to understand the details. And we ultimately have to understand points in those stories that align. When we hear both sides of these stories, the one with the more evidence, the one with the more details, the one with more sources, there may be other people who have witnessed this. We have to put all of these things into account before making an assumption. When we start to play favorites and not actually understand details, understand sources, understand the investigation that may take in account with these scenarios and these situations, and go off of who we like, then we essentially are not understanding the truth of the scenario and understanding the truth of the situation. The truth is there for us for a reason, for us to understand that situations and scenarios need to have a truth. No matter how much we may like a person or dislike a person, what we have to do is understand that people can be telling the truth. Some people, based upon how long you knew them, they may be telling lies in order for their stories to still stand strong. People that you may not know, they can be telling lies also. But I see no reason for a person that you may not know to tell lies and provide less evidence than somebody that you may know, due to the fact of the matter of them not knowing you and just telling you. But there still are people in this world who you may not know, who may tell stories that are lies in order for you to gain sympathy over them. They may try to take the victim mentality route in their situations, in their scenarios. So it's best that we have to take time in looking at the evidence providing to us so we could actually formulate a strong opinion. What we should never do is pick sides without us understanding the evidence and the information. That's what we fail to realize. We try to pick sides based upon how long we knew somebody. But there are people in this world that participate in manipulative tactics, who participate in gaslighting, who participate in group stalking and trying to formulate groups in order for you to hate this person and hate that person. So before you drift off into those ideologies and analogies, we have to understand where people are coming from. We have to understand how we could take the evidence provided into account and make a strong decision in the situations and the stories that we may hear or we may go through. And that's for us as well, including myself. What I try to do is when I provide a situation, a scenario to somebody else about something that may have happened in my personal life, I try not to leave no details out. And if I do leave details out, I will recanter and go back and add those details in. Sometimes I may leave details out due to the fact of the matter of me forgetting. But in other times, when I do forget and I sit down and analyze the situation and scenario, I will recanter and I will add details and evidence included into the scenario and situation that I may have went through in order for somebody to understand my story, my situation. And I will, in every story, in every situation, tell the truth and the honest truth. Why? Because the Most High sees and knows everything. If you lie and you lie and you lie, you will be exposed. But when you tell the truth, you have nothing to hide. You have nothing to be fearful of. You have nothing to be scared about. When telling the truth, you set yourself free. Why? Because if you do tell lies and the person that you're speaking to and talking to understands that you're telling lies, understands that you are not providing accurate evidence, and understands that you are not a reliable source for information, everything that you say can actually be used and turned against you. So it's best that we tell the truth before telling lies, because we ultimately debunk our statements. And when we make statements after the fact, we ruin our reputation to the point where even if you're trying to tell something and someone about the truth and the truth in that scenario and situation, they will not listen because of past times that you may have lied about a scenario and a situation. So it's best that we understand that sometimes, even in scenarios and situations that we may go through, the Most High sees, the Most High knows, and He will be your guide in that scenario and situation for others to see what you may have went through or to see what you may have overcome in this life. We have to take into account that many people try to manipulate with this victim mentality. They try to oppose somebody else, and when they oppose that person, when they spew hatred to that person, then they may turn to you and make it seem like they are not in a position of power, and they may try to gain your sympathy. But what we have to understand is when these people try to do these manipulative tactics, we have to ask them, where are they getting their information from? What's the source of their information? Where are you finding the information that you're providing to me? Who are you listening to? The topic that you're talking about, and how can you place that scenario and situation in a way where other people understand where you're coming from? If they cannot answer these questions, or even more questions that you may provide to them in order to get an accurate understanding of the situation that they may be in, and they try to divert their topics, do not listen to these people, because that is manipulation. If somebody cannot provide you the ability to research on the topic that you're talking about, in the topic that they're talking to you about, and they just want you to blindly believe them on the scenario and the topic that they may be talking about, do not listen to those people. They want you to be sympathetic towards them, and they want you to follow them and oppose the group that they may be talking about. So today, I will be leaving you with these scriptures, and I hope that these scriptures can help you make a clear analysis in your personal life and personal situations that you may go through. Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. James 5:12. But above all, my brothers, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by anything other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. Understand, in this life, we're going to encounter many situations, many scenarios. And in these situations, in these scenarios, what we must do is think for ourselves. Do not blindly follow others. Do not listen to people without actually doing the research, understanding the information provided to you. Because if we do, we will be lost. We will not understand what's going on, and we will ultimately be followers. We have to learn how to be a leader in standing on our own and understanding what is right and what is wrong. Do not follow people based upon how much you like them. Understand that when somebody does wrong, they're wrong. And when somebody does the right thing, they are right. If we follow by these guidelines, I can assure you that people will understand us. They will understand the position and role we play. And if they are fine with us playing that position and playing that role, and they accept us for understanding it, then these people will essentially be around us. But if they want you to follow people without actually doing the research, the knowledge and understanding behind what they're speaking on, and they just want you to follow them and not actually do the research, and they see that you are not that person, then they will remove themselves from you. So it's best that we understand who we're dealing with today and the journey that we're placed on. I want to thank you for watching. Peace.